Scheißarbeit. Folgepatrouille. Das nervt langsam. Was stimmt hier so? Raus geht's! Ich rücke! Guck weiter! Sieh da hinten rein! Gib mir Deckung! Hol ihn dir! Gib dir Deckung! Hol ihn dir! Hol mir den Mistkerl! Schieß weiter!
Pull yourself together. We're counting on you getting us through this.
Best is taking a real hammer. Get your toolkit and do what you can.
Good work. Watch yourself. We'll deal with this. Get up front and lead us through. Don't get too far ahead.
Du bist der deprimierendste Mensch, den ich kenne. Ich kann ein ständiges Gejammer nicht mehr hören. Geh vorsichtig weiter.
Come on. Oh, Christ, really? Next. This is stupid.
All right, son, we're all tired. But I need you to push ahead. Clear the way for us. Off you go.
abgesehen. Keine Ahnung, was ich getan habe.
Come on. Come on! Give me a fucking break. This is stupid.
All right, son, we're all tired. I need you to push ahead and clear the way for it. Off you go. All right, advance and clear. Let's get to work.
Hast du was gesehen?
Du bist der deprimierendste Mensch, den ich kenne. Ich kann ein ständiges Gejammer nicht mehr hören.
Artificial walls again.
Der Hauptmann hat's auf mich abgesehen. Keine Ahnung, was ich gemacht habe.
Rede mit einem, den ein Geschwätz interessiert. Ich kann's nämlich nicht mehr hören.
Du siehst scheiße aus.
Ich will nicht mit ihr reden. Hast du was gesehen? Geschwätz mit diesem Ohr? Da kommt nichts gerecht.
Ich muss pissen.
Meine Füße sind eiskalt! Und der ganze Scheiße sind nur die Franzosen schuld! Rede mit einem, den der Geschwätz interessiert! Ich kann...
watch our back. Best took a beating on that one. We nearly
Fuck
lost
you.
them.
According to the map, we should soon be out of these sodden woods. We need to get across this here bridge and then... On the bridge! Germans, let 'em have it!
Edward, get a move on! Do not have a ring! Move! Move!
God bless it. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Well, according to the map, we should soon be out of these sodden woods. We need to get across this here bridge and then it shouldn't be much further. We still need you to scout up ahead. On the bridge! Germans, let 'em have it! There's a bunker on the ridge up ahead. Looks well defended, too. Those field guns could quickly ruin our day. You go in, clear out those guns. We'll move up and finish the job.
Yeah, right. Isn't this the whole idea of a tank? Are you kidding me? Yeah, you know, World War I, they didn't quite figured out mobile artillery. Shit. And of course, you're not going to let me use the fucking woods. I mean, why would you do that? Why would you let me use an obvious tactic in stealth? Yeah, you know, why? That's just silly.
Wir hätten einfach...
Move! Shh. Come on!
Reinforcements, pouring in!
Come on. Wonderful. You know, why aren't you guys shooting? Jesus Christ.
erst aufgibst, bin ich vielleicht gnädig.
How did it miss?
Hilfe! Hilfe! Du bist allein!
Sei vorsichtig! Der Kerl ist hier irgendwo! Vorsichtig! Geh nicht zu weit voraus!
Ich glaube, ich habe ihn davon gesehen!
Er darf uns nicht erwischen!
Da ist er! Lade ihm den Fluchtweg an!
Okay, you got him. This is crazy, this is crazy, this is crazy. Gotta fix this tank.
That's enough fun and games. Get in and drive, Edwards. Let's get out of here. Let's not do that again anytime soon. Come on, get in and drive.
Edward, you burn a bloody wasp's nest out there. Just ready to come forward. Get us out of here.
Felt a little Rainbow Six there for a minute. Off into the sunset. We're all happy now.
Yes, give us a break. Give us a break.
What, Edwards, what?
So she needs new spark plugs.
Check how far that village is. Can you see it, son? Can you see the village?
Yes. Yes, I see it.
And what about our tanks? Can you see any of our tanks down there? Edwards?
Yeah. But they're not ours anymore.
Sounds like whatever Bess needs is down in that village.
All right. Let's go, Edwards.
Again,
Let's go.
we have a tank and we keep leaving it.
Good luck.
That's nice. These people didn't understand tank warfare at all.
Come over here. That tank is going nowhere and he'll be dead by morning. We're fucked.
What's it, you? You're just gonna abandon the mission, are you?
Don't you get it? Finch, Pritchard, all of us. We've been fucked all along.
Look, if that's what you want, McManus, then just go.
Don't you ever talk to me like that. I've ran more fucking missions than you have had hot dinner, son.
McManus, just fucking go.
All right, so we played about a half hour, maybe a little more of the game, and my take on it. Well, my take on it is so far, it's been a better Battlefield experience than I've had in a long time. There's some annoyances in it. Sometimes it feels a little bit like Rainbow Six. Sometimes it feels a little bit like Call of Duty. Um, DICE has done a better job of stepping up their single-player game. I remember Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 3. I mean, the single player was interesting, but not necessarily thought-provoking. Um, Probably the closest, as far as trying to get the era right and trying to be historically accurate, this is probably as close as I've seen a video game come to, say, Call of Duty World at War, which I still hold up as one of the best war shooters that I've played, mostly because it tried to be much more accurate. It wasn't so much about being completely historically accurate as it was evoking the feeling, to make you stop and think. And so far, I'm approaching it. Not quite, but we're approaching that with my experience with Battlefield 1. But you've already seen and heard me playing this game and kind of an impromptu review during that. But let's see what some of the big guys have to say, like IGN and GameSpot and Polygon. Let's see what they have to say about it. Mostly the same thing, but yeah, they're excited about multiplayer. I've never been excited about Battlefield multiplayer. I can count on one hand the number of times in the last 10 years it's really been good, but it gets better, I guess. Anyway, going down here, IGN pretty much talks about the first mission. They think the beginning is weak, the character's bland, that kind of thing. Let's see what stuff, though. Let's see. The bird segment. They talk about the bird. Now, in this, it's either this or the other video. The whole releasing of the pigeon, I thought was dumb. I guess that was supposed to be poignant and, draw a stark contrast between life and soaring free as opposed to the dirt and grit of battle and destruction. But it just didn't quite. It just turned out to be a gimmick to me. I didn't care for it. But they're pretty much on target here. Guns blazing approach, extremely limited. Weapon crates are numerous. Well, depending on where you are. Actually, where I stopped the game, last time I played it, was the ammo crates weren't quite plentiful enough. Let's see, what do they have to say? I found that playing this way was unsurprisingly the best. What was unsurprisingly the best. Battlefield isn't really built for stealth and getting a chance to experiment with a wealth of World War I era weapons like new submachine guns or the simple but effective bolt action rifles, and changing up my tactics depending on what I could salvage from any encampments was a more gratifying experience. Yeah, the brief stealthy trudge through trenches and muddy graveyard of downed Mark V tanks' bodies, mangled trees, and barbed wire made up no man's land was a haunting break from the epic dogfights preceding it. The transition to Battlefield 1 handles with grace. While most military shooters, tend to make some grand statement about a war while making the horror of it a fun adventure, Battlefield 1 uses clever storytelling to maintain a balance. Yes, I'll go that far. But I gotta say, so far, and I've only been through the first 3 sections of the first mission, Mud and Blood, which is where most people start. You don't have to, but I like to play things in a sequence because I figure if they were numbered, there's a reason they're numbered. But I found myself doing a lot less tactical and a lot more stealth. So yeah, a lot of times it felt more like Rainbow Six than a Battlefield game, which may draw in more people. I'm not going to bother with the multiplayer. We haven't done that yet. I pretty much know what to expect from multiplayer in a Battlefield game. If that changes, I'll update this video. But so yeah, I'd have to agree with it. I mean, I don't know about exhilarating, but it's definitely engaging. I'll say that.
The single player campaign is much more engaging than anything I've played in Battlefield 4. Let's see what GameSpot has to say. Inevitability of death. Yeah, it is pretty gloomy. That whole. Let's see, where is it? I think they show it in the video. Let me go here. Let's see if they show the. No, they're not showing it in this video. But if we go back here, where did it say it? I saw it. There it goes. I love this. What follows is frontline combat. You are not expected to survive. I mean, that's kind of ominous. And I even made a comment on that in the first video, in the first play, the Doug's first play, that yeah, this is I can do this because you're expected to die. Which World War One was the bloodiest and just most horrifying. I mean, World War II was bad, yes. All the wars come back, there's been atrocities, but this thing was just pure blood and guts and disturbing. So any game based on it that wants to stay true to it has to be the same. A lot of World War One games. That's what I said early on about this. I had issues with this, and I still think it's kind of a case of DICE had nowhere else to go with Battlefield. In fact, I've heard the next Battlefield game is pretty much going back to Modern Warfare again, but not Call of Duty Modern Warfare, just Modern Warfare in general. But it's. I mean, this is better than I expected, but yeah, I mean, it's a take, and you do have to walk a fine line when you're handling a topic like this, because it's not the typical, hey boys, atta boy, give him the gun, damn the torpedoes kind of thing. It's a little more personal, and you have to respect that if you want to make a good game. And a lot of World War One themed games, they stick to like Red Baron stuff and flying and that kind of thing, where you don't have to deal with all that, troublesome human atrocity stuff. You just fly around in the air and shoot stuff, and maybe you'll see an occasional explosion on the earth below. This, you're in the earth below, and it takes a lot of talent, and it takes a lot of thoughtfulness to pull it off. And so far, it's working out that way. I'm getting a sense of it. However, I think I would have turned a game like this over not to DICE. I mean, DICE can make a beautiful game, don't get me wrong, but this thing borrows a hell of a lot of assets from Star Wars Battlefront. It still does. I've seen it all the way from the UI to even some textures. It borrows an awful lot from Battlefront. I think Respawn, the folks who did Titanfall, Respawn were most of the people who originally did the Call of Duty series, the good Call of Duty series. And I think Respawn would actually be the right developer to do a game like this, although DICE pretty much has the lock on Battlefield games. But I think they have a little more creative depth to be able to handle a subject thoughtfully. This comes close, but so far I'm just at the edge of, feeling something emotional about it, but not quite there. Anyway, let's see what GameSpot has to say. Inevitability, death, horrors and heroism, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, a whole lot of flowery language, blah, blah, blah. Battlefield 1 multiplayer stays faithful to open space combat. Yeah, I wish they would have done something about that. I remember playing it in the beta and I wasn't too impressed. There are already superheroes, although it was pretty to look at. Conquest down. Okay, so they're spending a lot of time in this review on the multiplayer, which they figure that's what mostly people are going to buy this game for. Now remember, this game came out in October 2016, so it's been around over a year, but it's still very popular. Let's look what Polygon had to say about it. Shooter direction is better. Battlefield Bad Company 2, embrace progression, unlock system. Enforce series resembles system goals to rival even more. Okay, yeah, this Battlefield 1, yes, it does feel a little different from any Battlefield game. It's Battlefield 3 and 4, the single player that was available, or single player like areas of it, I should say, seemed very mechanical. They were cool, but they were mechanical. You didn't really connect with anything. The campaign is a little more. This is what I mean too. It's come to be a little more thoughtful and a little more thought provoking on the part of when you're playing it. Okay, what are they saying here? Okay, Battlefield 1 navigates the tonal challenges of the awful human cost of World War I well, in part by not ignoring them. There's a consistent acknowledgement of the abject terror and hopelessness that sat atop the people involved in the conflict on all sides. Hard to think the grimly effective prologue. There's also less explicit demonization of the enemy, something that feels like a relief in the military shooter space, which seems hell-bent on giving players something they can feel good about shooting at. Yes, true. This is a point worth making. Battlefield 1 feels like a move away from military shooter doctrine in plenty of ways. Biggest departure is how little shooting there can be. Yes, true. There's a lot of stealth in this game. If you could sneak up or sneak around something, you do it. I know later playing this game, probably the last 30 minutes that I played it, I found myself doing more sneaking around than actively looking to shoot anything. There was a mission to hunt spark plugs for Big Bess. And that's what I was doing, and stealth definitely means something. So does going prone on your belly with a rifle in your hand, waiting for your prey to show up so you can get something. Not like being a sniper in Battlefield 4 or 3, more like trying to survive so you can continue with your objective. Let's see. Sneaking in Battlefield 1 doesn't feel like a bolted-on idea and concept. Instead, it's a clearly developed set of mechanics that feels lifted directly from Hardline. This is good because there's a lot of moving around bigger spaces where shooting isn't always a good idea. Exactly. Campaign feels like a drawing back from the direct competition of Call of Duty that DICE and EA have seemed unhealthily fixated on since Battlefield 3, and that's to the game's benefit in multiplayer as well. Pace is slower, yes. Weapons aren't as much of a throwback as the setting might suggest. There are plenty of automatic options. Initial semi-auto and bolt action. Regardless, whether it's historically accurate, it feels internally consistent. At least BF1 is less twitch-oriented, more considered than other FPS games. Yes. Disadvantage. Yeah. See, here's the same problem. This is the same problem all Battlefield games had. It says here, those snipers can take over larger maps when vehicles aren't available. It calls to mind Battlefield 1's size conundrum. As in Battlefield 4, larger conquest maps are huge, which makes for a nice big playground. Until that is, you need to run your ass across it to get to where things are happening. This is mitigated by vehicles, but they're often in short supply. Something I've lamented is it felt like ages in reality, probably 34 seconds running to combat from a spawn point that wasn't a squad mate. This is why you try to spawn on your partners. You never, if you can avoid spawning at an objective, you do it. But that's pretty much the mantra of any Battlefield game. You spawn closer to where you want to be than a preset area. That and the problem with Battlefield games, which I'm sure will eventually happen with Battlefield 1, is the issue of spawn camping, spawn killing. Kind of two sides of the same coin. People who hang around in the camp just to make sure they keep their kill to death ratio down, and people who stay just out of the no man's land of the cheat bars, I call them, and pick off people in the spawn, which a lot of Battlefield maps have allowed to happen. And with big maps, yeah, that could be an issue with Battlefield 1. But again, I haven't played the multiplayer yet. I'm not going to. I'm going to go completely through the campaigns before I do So far, yeah, I'm on board with these reviews. I'm pretty much on board with what IGN and GameSpot and Polygon have to say about it. I don't know though. I reserve judgment on just how uh, poignant the game becomes to me. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I'm enjoying it, and there will be more videos about it, but I'm not going to cover it, you know, from level to level, map to map, like I've done other games. I want to just kind of experience it, and that's saying a lot because it's been a while since I actually wanted to experience a Battlefield game. Mostly, you just jump in there and start shooting, fight for your life, and wait to see how many points you got, and if you want any ribbons. And this game is not like that so far. Although campaigns usually aren't in any of these shooters, you know, in single player, but we'll see. The multiplayer is going to be what really tells, and really the campaign it's kind of a training ground. I want to get a feel for this game and how things work, and I already felt like it was. I don't know. Sometimes the single player betrays the multiplayer experience in that it isn't what you think it's going to be. While you will do well, and this happens with Call of Duty or Rainbow Six or any of the single player kind of missions or campaign missions in these games, you think you're better than you are. When you get to multiplayer, you find out all that stuff that you were so great at in campaign mode, you completely suck at um, in in multiplayer. And the fact is, when you first go through the first mission, we basically go about 5 or 6 guys, and they all die, and you do die, which kind of drives the point home that it's kind of a hopeless situation. But um, you get a few kills and you do a few things, and if you played shooters before, you'll know a few things, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to do that well. If I did as well in multiplayer as I did in campaign, I'd be an ace Battlefield player, and the jury is out to see if anything, because I know how Battlefield multiplayer goes, and it's usually a less of a run and gun, more of a tactical, but you always get overwhelmed by something or somebody that's kind of external to what it's supposed to be in the game. So anyway, that's it. That's all I really have to say about it. It's it's looking interesting. It's definitely something I want to spend more time with, and I'm real glad I got it on sale. So keep watching. Anyway, that's all I have to say for now. Thanks for stopping by. We'll be talking to you.